Tonight, an ice cream parlor gets firebombed. The Somali community in Minnesota is creating 25% of the GDP for the nation of Somalia. And the new mayoral candidate for Minnesota does not want to actually help the city. All right, so welcome back, Defenders. Let's talk the news. Lots of things happening right here in the state of Minnesota. And of course, we're focused on gun rights and everything, but that's a little slow today after we just reported on what's going on with Glock overseas and the new coming out of the V series. But let's look at some of the other comings and goings that's happening right here in Minnesota. So just recently, we had Fletcher's Ice Cream Parlor in Minneapolis get firebombed with a Molotov cocktail. And they arrested the individual, and police response was actually fairly fast on this, and significant damage was not created. The building did not burn down. And a response was fast in this because it happened right at the location of Mayor Frey's apartment complex, so where he actually lives. And that's kind of a big deal because, you know, Minneapolis is the heart of defund the police and removing officers off the street. After all, we had the Summer of Love. It all started right here in Minnesota. So what does that look like for us? Of course, the elites, they will absolutely get the support that they need. Now, my own opinions aside, let's actually look at this from a bigger view that's happening in Minneapolis right now. The mayoral race is occurring, and we have both Mayor Frey and we have Omar from the Somali community that's going to be running against them. Now, this is significant because Omar has been holding rallies. And what's interesting about his rallies is that, one, they're not even in English.
Recently held a rally where there wasn't a single American flag, and they never spoke English the entire time. Ilhan Omar endorsed him, naturally. As we know, she likes to keep it in the family. His platform includes not clearing homeless encampments. Oh, and on the state Senate floor, he recently said, "The real terrorists look like my white Republican colleagues."
Now, how does this affect the mayoral campaign? Well, you're looking at a mayoral candidate and a Minnesota state representative for Congress that are supporting a nation other than the United States, which of course is a big problem. Minneapolis already has prayer calls that go across the city. It's you're seeing a lot more and more kind of the Dearborn, Michigan effect. In fact, outside of Somalia and say the UK and Sweden, we have the largest Somali population in one congruent spot. And what's just recently discovered in the U.S. State Department's coverage of investment climate in the nation of Somalia is that 25% of Somalia's gross domestic product, their GDP, comes from remittance payments coming from the United States going directly to Somalia, which says a lot. It is a nation that cannot stand on its own 2 feet without the scams and frauds that are happening in the United States, in Minnesota, to send money back to them. Now, how do we know that's happening? Well, we've already had the CPAP scandal, the Al-Shabaab donation and orphan scandal back from 2010 to 2012 coming out of Rochester, and of course the Feed Our Future scandal. In fact, the Feed Our Future scandal is now up to $300 million of missing funds, and a 75th person that's been rolled up and arrested in conjunction with this. It's just getting messier and deeper right here in Minnesota. Now, the remittance payments. This is all payments coming from the Somali community going to the nation of Somalia, but where are they getting all these funds? Well, it's from these scams and fraud that's occurring right now. And one of the biggest things that we're actually looking at the moment, and this could actually apply to the U.S. Now, take it with a grain of salt. This is a report coming out of the U.K. Recent report out of the U.K. is showing that 1 out of 10 Somali migrants in their nation are actually employed. In fact, this study that actually came out is saying that 70% are on unemployment, and 84% of the Somali population's women are also unemployed. And this is very interesting because essentially they're abusing the welfare system and that social safety net to garner all these funds and send them overseas to support their families and to support their country and their interim government. I mean, Somalia hasn't had a functioning government in decades, okay? And we're already seeing this because we do know that the immigration system by the Somali community is being abused. And what they're doing is we've already talked about that abuse of the H-1B visa, the F-1 visa, and of course marriage fraud with the recent report and Operation Twin Shield that happened here in Minnesota, uncovering that 50% of the Somali migrants abusing marriage immigration rules for the nation. And this is even more interesting because as we peel back that layer, what we're actually seeing as well is that Somalia Somali women are claiming to also be single mothers with multiple children. Now, are they actually single mothers? Well, if you understand Islam, divorce is highly frowned upon. And so the occurrence of single mothers are typically incredibly low in that community. Now, it could be the case, certainly, that there might be a ton of single motherhood occurring in the Somali community, but I would say that that would be dubious at best. You're looking culturally at them as a unit. And culturally, again, they frown upon that. Divorce is highly discouraged in the Muslim community, okay? And they are predominantly Muslim majority group. So what they would then be doing is abusing the welfare system, that safety net here, especially in Minnesota, and taking all those welfare funds, even though they would be married, and claiming that they're not, and again, sending that overseas. Anyways, that's just some of the stuff that's happening right now in the state of Minnesota. So, hey, thanks for stopping by, Defenders. Remember, stay prepared, not scared. God bless and good night, everybody.